on using Excel for bank audit. This now starts. This program is hosted by Pondicherry branch of SIRC of ICAI, co-hosted by Salem branch of SIRC of ICAI. Now the program starts. First, we have Tamil Thai Valthu.
Pushparaj, please play the prayer and institute motto song. Pushparaj.
सुप्तेषु जाग्रति येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यधिकश्च नान्यधिकश्च एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you. Now, I request Ms. Manju Bashne ma'am, chairperson of Pondicherry branch of SIRC, to give welcome address.
Thank you, sir. Respected chairman of Salem branch, respected Rajendra Kumar sir, Central Council member, speaker of today's program, CA Dungar Jain, my colleagues in the committee of Pondicherry branch, managing committee members of Salem branch, esteemed fellow professionals, good afternoon. On behalf of the Pondicherry branch and Salem branch of SIRC of ICAI, I welcome you all to the virtual CPE meeting on using Excel for bank audits. Every year, every branch of ICAI holds seminar on using Excel for bank audits to help the members to get updated and get ready for the upcoming assignment, and so this seminar to specifically address practical issues. The speaker, CA Dungar Jain, is personally known to every member of all the branches of SIRC. He is a tech-savvy and he's here today to share his vast knowledge and rich experience with us. When our members wanted a program on IT in bank audits, we approached him and he readily accepted our invitation at short notice despite year-end activities and routine. Thank you very much, sir. Then I thank CA Rajendra Kumar, sir, for joining this meeting. Thank you very much, sir. And lastly, we thank one and all for your participation and response. Thank you. Over to CA Ranjit Kumar, Secretary.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Now, before handing over the session to speaker, let me introduce our speaker with few words. CA Dungar Chand Jain.
Ranjit,
Yes, sir.
RK sir
Yes.
wanted to speak. Why don't we have his address before that?
Oh yes, but okay, I have no issue. But before handing over to you, that I actually plan to give session to him. Okay, now sir, can I give it now itself? Okay, sir. Sir, RK sir. Sir, we welcome you, sir. You can take the session now, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to take any session. The bank audit all goes above my head. So I'm not here to take any session. Very esteemed chairperson of the Pondicherry branch, my very good friend Manju Bhashani madam. The chairman of the Salem branch who is available here, I can see him with a wonderful ICA logo behind him, Shankar. All other esteemed members of the Pondicherry and the Salem branch who have joined for this program, and the speaker, CA Dungar Jain. Very good evening to each and every one of you, and congratulations to all of you for getting elected to the respective positions, and wishing you all the best for the good work that you will be doing for this year. As a member of the Central Council, I have been given chairmanship of two committees, the GST and Indirect Taxes Committee and the Management Accounting Committee. So as the chairman of these two committees, I request you to please conduct programs. In fact, from the Management Accounting Committee, we are going to come up with detail, because management per se is a very, very big and broad term. So we are going to come out with list of topics and the grants available for the branches from this committee for you to conduct programs. In fact, this is for the first time the council has approved grant for the Management Accounting Committee, as has been presented by our committee. So we'll come back to you very soon. In the GST and Indirect Taxes Committee also, for the purposes of strengthening the members' grip over the GST, we normally give grants, which we have increased this year by about 20%. So I exhort all the branches to conduct programs whereby you will be benefited by the grants also. And in fact, this year, the bank audit has been a sort of a mixed experience for many. The public sector banks being reduced to very few because of the mergers and acquisitions. And the YH Maligam Committee's report to the Reserve Bank of India, which actually recommended 70% or lesser number of audits, the branches to be audited. The Reserve Bank of India, sort of accepting this report, has recommended to the banks about 80%. Last year it was 90, this year it is 80, and next year it is 70, 60, like that. Slowly the branch bank audits will be thing of past in very few years. I know as a Central Council member, you will not like to hear this from me. But then I'm a person who speaks what is required to be spoken. I'm not a person who speaks simply, I will manage. I'm not here to garner votes or support, because whatever is there in black and white, we need to be very, very clear. Now, be that as it may, this year only one or two banks, I was told, because I don't engage in any of the bank audit related work also, even in my firm. Only one or two banks were having the vacancy as far as auditors are concerned. And majority of the south-based banks had absolutely nil vacancy. Even the existing auditors, if some of them were given 2 branches or 3 branches in the past, it has been reduced to 2 or 1 because there is no space even for the new auditors, rather the existing auditors. So new audit extremely important at this point of time for us to ponder upon. The institute per se is now putting pressure on the banks to ensure that concurrent audit mechanism is further strengthened. The fee levels are increased at concurrent audit levels. But parallelly, the Indian Banks Association is also very strongly exhorting that we will also strengthen our internal mechanism. So when centralization takes place, when branches merely become the points of disbursement of cash or amounts and maybe collecting agencies of cash or the checks and loan processes being centralized at the highest level, it is time for us to consolidate, time for us to ensure that we also look into other areas. In fact, I got few telephone calls. Some person was telling, sir, bank audit fees is my 40% of the fees. I said, too risky. We need to improve upon the other clients also. We need to learn to bill for every work that we do. Can anyone go to a lawyer's office, talk to a lawyer for 1 hour and come back without even making a payment of 1 rupee to the lawyer? I don't think so. Can anyone enter a lawyer's office without appointment? Will you go to a doctor without speaking to the doctor or the receptionist of the doctor? Will take a token and then only wait for the doctor. Whatever small may be the ailment, the doctor, you will make a payment of fee. In fact, we have become so passionately attached with the client that we think that the client's problem is our problem. Whether the client thinks that his problem is his problem or not, we start thinking that client's problem is our problem. We don't sleep in the night. We always keep thinking our profession is the only profession which is there 24 hours on WhatsApp. Morning 6 o'clock also, you will find income tax discussions going on. Night 1 o'clock also, income tax discussion going on. Sunday also going on. Deepavali, Pongal, Tamil, New Year Day. Every function, you will find the people on WhatsApp happily discussing professional matters. I have not found any profession in that, for that matter, whether it is medical profession or legal profession, we have never found that at all. In fact, they are also noble profession like ours. They also matter most. So in these changing times, the CA amendment bill is being presented in the parliament. Discussion is going on now. There, some changes are being made in the disciplinary mechanism, which many parties are opposing. Government is talking about IIA. Sir, I mean, I was simply surprised to find our members discussing so much about IIA. What is IIA? It is just merely a suggestion coming out of a standing committee report. And our members have discussed it to such an extent. The government has been successful in weaning away chartered accountants from the proposed amendments. Something which was not there in the bill at all, we are discussing that. So someone asked me, sir, what about IIA? What is your views? I said, our members have written horoscope for a child without knowing whether it is a boy or girl. And few among them who are very brilliant enough have started searching for a bride or a groom. பொருத்தம் பார்க்கறதுக்கும் வந்து கிளம்பிட்டாங்க அவங்க. குழந்தை பிறக்கவே இல்லை, ஆனா பொண்ணான்னு தெரியாது, ஜாதகம் எழுதியாச்சு நம்ம. This is how it has happened. We have never discussed the CA amendment bill at all. No one has discussed the provision of the CA amendment bill in WhatsApp. Everyone has discussed only IIA. So this morning I had a detailed talk with several MPs who are speaking either for or against the bill. I had personally spoken to them about various factors also. So I request the members, please spend time with your family. Please spare holidays for yourself. When you are working, your client is sleeping happily, is enjoying in Kodaikanal, which is Dungar Jain's, which is near DC Jain's city. Night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, we should not kindly waste our health. Ensure that every client meets you only after getting a prior appointment. Only when your client respects your time, he will pay you. So our reliance on bank audits may be against me speaking like this. But as all of you know, Rajendra Kumar is Rajendra Kumar. He speaks his mind. He doesn't keep the members in dark. He doesn't keep the members unnecessarily making them happy for a particular cause. GST came, a lot of work is there. In fact, GST work is going to start now. The government audits which are coming up, huge audits will come up, huge points will be thrown upon your clients on classification matters, on ITC matters. The notices which will come left, right, and center. It is our profession which has to answer that and take up that work from all your clients. So members, I congratulate you for doing for this particular program today, and also thank very much Manju Bhashini and Shankar for allowing me to speak. I never told them that I'm going to, I just logged in, that's all. Let me see what is happening, who are all there. But then you are very courteous enough, allowing me to speak and allowing me to speak my mind. I know some of you may not gel with me. Some of you may feel that no, Rajendra Kumar is speaking like that. But then what I have spoken is the truth. So let us re-energize ourselves. Let us ensure that we spend time for ourselves also. Thank you very much. And congratulations to you once again, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, members. Now we move on to the technical session. Before that, let me have few words about our author. It's not good to use the introduction. I will have a few words about the author. CA Dungar Jain. Jain is a commerce graduate and a chartered accountant practice in Madurai, and he served as a chairman during the year 2020-21 of SIRC of ICAI. He is currently the managing partner of PSDY and associate chartered accountants, having offices at Chennai, Madurai, and Cochin. He is a tech savvy and is associated with, is a member of Bombay Chartered Accountant Society, Mumbai, Association of Chartered Accountant, is member in Association of Chartered Accountant, Chennai, is a member of Chartered Accountant Study Circle, Chennai, and All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. There is number of things to tell about him. Let me conclude now and we will move on to the session. Now I hand over the session to Mr. Dungar Jain, sir.
Thank you, Ranjit. In fact, at the outset, let me thank Pondicherry branch and Salem branch for seeing that my knowledge in Excel is kind of being sharpened at all times. So thanks to you that I'm able to meet all the members, though not in physical mode, which I would have loved to, but at least virtually, so that we don't miss out on the important things. And I'm looking forward a day where we will have an Excel workshop in the conference hall, where probably the learning will be more better. But nevertheless, I promise that these 2 hours, I'll try to see that the best is covered, and I would not like this to be a one-way traffic where I speak and you listen. I would like more interaction through the chat box. And whatever I'm going to use it today, I will request all the members to do it parallelly as we take the session along. And probably one good thing about this session is the Salem branch and Pondicherry branch are 2 branches which are very close to me for various reasons. Salem branch close because I always keep telling that it was the first branch I addressed other than my home branch actually. And thanks to Natarajan sir, I see is there, who made me FCA even when I was a ACA member actually.
Narayan sir, yes,
Pondicherry-
yes.
And Pondicherry branch because I was the ex officio for last 3 years and know probably every member very, very closely and personally. Friends, the Excel session, generally, if you are going to watch and not, practice the Excel, it is going to be like watching a Chinese movie. And when you watch a Chinese movie, you enjoy the movie. But after the movie, when you collect back, you will feel that there is nothing you have known. So probably I will request everybody to kind of open your Excel as we go and try to do whatever we could do so that if there are any queries, you can come up. So it will be definitely not a session, but a kind of workshop where we'll go through the nuances of it. So before that, I would like to share the link in the chat box. Kindly click that link. It contains materials in which I will request you to place your cursor on that last folder, 11 working files, Salem, Pondi. Right click and use the word download. I mean, click download so that everything gets downloaded at one go in zip file. I request all members to do that. And probably anybody who did can give a confirmation also. We'll wait for a few seconds so that everybody does that. So this is the link for those who are not getting it. It is bit.ly/bankauditdc. The idea is to give all compilations at one place so that you can use this for as a reference materials. Can I get some confirmations in chat box? Done, sir. Okay. Fine. I assume you are able to use the link and you are able to get access to that folder. Don't click those files inside the folder directly. Your Excel file will open in Google Sheets where certain things may not work. My suggestion and request will be to download that folder or I'll probably put it on the screen which files to download. The 1 and 2 Excel files and probably the other 2 text files also so that we can use that for workings actually. So the first 4 files I want you to download. On the screen, 11th file, you can right click and use download where all files will get downloaded. If you are not able to do it, click on it and download these first 4 files individually by right clicking it and telling download. Don't try to open the file directly on the screen. It will open in Google Sheets and a lot of functions does not work in Google Sheets, though it is a wonderful tool in itself for other reasons actually. Fine. So I'll open the bank audit Excel file, the 01 control sheet actually. The idea of this today's session is not just to tell how Excel works, but also give this as a template, which tomorrow you can use it for bank audit, which will automatically create a lot of documentation. You can feel free to add and delete sheets, add rows and columns, whichever you feel you can enhance. And also feel free to write to me if there are any mistakes or any other better suggestions you have. Now, whoever opened this field, this sheet, it would have opened in one of the particular sheet attendance certificate. Now, I want to go to the first sheet of this Excel file. Can somebody tell me how to go to the first sheet of this Excel file? And you click enable editing if it is showing. All things given are safe. And if it given that the contents have been disabled, give enable content.
Sir, excuse me. Can you please share the screen?
My screen is not shared.
No, that is the problem, sir. 1 minute. I'll ask
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry. I'll just share it once.
Not a problem.
Yeah, now you are able to see the screen, the Excel file.
Yeah, it's coming,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
So when you open that file, it will open with one random sheet attendance certificate. I want to go to the first sheet of this Excel file. How do I do that? So the crudest way is to click one sheet and take it forward or backward by clicking this. Any other way, if somebody can put in the chat box. Okay, I will like to listen, even if you don't know, you can say don't know, so that at least I know that you are with me. How to go to the first sheet of this Excel file actually. I recognize the presence of CA Arun, our regional council member. Control page up, perfect. If I go to control page up, it will take me to the sheets which are on the left. And if I click control page down, it will take me to the sheets which are in the preceding sheets actually. Now there is easier way where you can do, you don't have to kind of see, imagine you have got 100 sheets. You don't have to kind of do it a sheet after another. What you can do is, there are two arrow buttons on the bottom end. If you see, you click that, it will throw you all the sheets which are there in this particular file. So to go to the first sheet, I just have to click this and say okay, or double click. So the first introduction page, and then I given some small preliminary remarks before we get into the session per se. First is, whenever you are asking for some reports, you are getting a text file or an Excel file. You may get either of the two. Which one generally you feel will be better, and why? You'll be happy with getting a text file, or you'll be happy getting an Excel file, and how good or bad that is?
Whatever it may be, Jay.
Whatever it may be. No, I want one among the two. Which one you will prefer? One over the other.
Even if you have a text file, you can convert it to the Excel file. It is not a problem now.
Okay. Now, if you get Excel file, I want you to be little cautious. What I'm trying to tell is, if you're getting an Excel file, there are chances it may be manipulated or altered unintentionally, not intentionally. Managers generally don't try to tamper with things, but he would have opened some Excel work and given it to you. So there are very many chances that there would have been something not correct with the file. So please try to access the text file. So text file, can it be edited? Yes, it can be done there also. What can happen in Excel file? It can be done in text file, but Excel is very easy to edit and to edit in a notepad file, which will have it as the extension as .txt or .rpt. Now, second thing, between the files, whether it is Excel or text, you should always try to download it yourself, or you see that the download is happening before your eyes. Don't rely on the downloaded files. And third, importantly, as an auditors, we generally get the login and password to get access to. We definitely get view rights for the login password given to us. Generally, what they happen is they will change the concurrent auditor's password and give it to us. They will reset the password and give it to us, where we'll have all the view rights. So what happens in this this kind of login is, certain reports may not come. So if you want some access to some reports which are not coming, ensure that you ask the manager to download and you get an email from them. Don't try to copy it in pen drive or some other mode. It is always better that it is kind of coming through an email, which tomorrow acts as a record that these were the files I received, and it is on those files I have worked upon actually. And third, as I told you, this particular sheet is a kind of sheet which will help you to prepare audit documentation on your own. As you do things, you please keep recording. Many a time I know that majority of the firms, I will call it SMPs, small and medium practitioners, we do all things very properly, but only thing is where what we lack is documentation. Sir, the panirkom sir. Sir, sir, I don't have record to substantiate that. Please try to document it then and there. It will hardly take 5 minutes for every activity to get recorded actually. Probably when I take you through all the sheets, you'll appreciate that it is actually not that tough. Only thing is you have to start recording it or tell your assistants that they should record things then and there. Fourth, very important, you please go with the audit program before you start the audit. Sir, I've seen many times it doesn't go the way I want. So be it. It might not go the way you want, but still you should have an audit program so that you know what are the areas to be covered and you don't miss out on important things. We have seen many a time, one or two of the important areas get missed and we hurriedly do it where we may miss out on certain important things. So ensure that you go with a proper audit program. It may be customized to your needs. Like I need to check the loans, I need to check points in LFAR, I need to go for physical verification of cash, etc. But ensure that you go with a small audit program which will help you to do the audit better. And fifth, you must ensure that you properly get trained. And training by you attending the bank audit seminars won't suffice. It is your people in the team also should get properly trained. Either see that they are also attending the bank audit seminars which are available for students and staff, or you should sit with them for at least 3 to 4 hours minimum, bare minimum, so that you can tell what is the expectations and also they can clear their doubts. And very importantly, the training, when I say, this will help you to plan things also. Many a time we Indians have the tendency to spend less time in planning and spend more time in execution. But actually it should be the other way around. You spend more time in planning so that your execution becomes very, very easy. And today's session, which I'm going to cover, is only strengthening your concepts. There are some functions which I will cover. Probably I will just touch 1 or 2 areas only, but I have tried to see that maximum of the functions are getting covered, and probably those functions will help you to kind of do audits in a better way. And Rajendra Kumar did speak that bank audit, everybody might not get, there may be difficulties. But today what I'm going to teach you, does not just apply to bank audit, but for any audit or any assignment you may look upon. So the idea is to strengthen your concept so that you can apply it all phases of your audits or for the profession. In fact, for the LFAR points given, each and every point, you can actually use technology and Excel to explore and give your opinion, rather than giving a very, very generalized opinion. I still recall that is point in LFAR that whether the cash retention limit is being properly complied by the branch. And we generally give a comment that it is generally complied or generally not complied. Please do not be ambiguous. Try to be very, very specific, telling that these many days it exceeded, these many days it didn't exceed, so that the management can know the risk, can either alter the retention limit, change the insurance based upon it, and kind of take any other remedy measures based on our report actually. And this will also help the central statutory auditor to compile things little easily. And after we do the analysis, what I'm going to take you through, you can then pick out the samples, the top 5 or the top 10 samples, or as per the criteria of 10% of the advances. And very importantly, don't miss out the current year loans also on random basis. And ninth, I have observed that many a time people blame Excel that this is not working, that is not working. But generally the problem may be due to some system settings. So ensure that you use the laptop which you are used to. Just for the bank audit, don't use a new laptop where you don't know where the keys are and you spend a lot of time in getting things done. It is like our olden days where we used to write our exams. We were advised to carry the same pen which we are using regularly than going for a new pen. And today when I tell you some techniques, there is no single way to do things. There are multiple ways it can be done. So whichever way you are comfortable, feel free to do it. But if you are able to learn a technique which will save time, or you can do it with lesser steps, kindly do that, as it will help us to complete things easily. Choice is yours. Even if it is going to take a step more or so, and you are comfortable with one style of doing, please do that. Nothing wrong in it. Whichever way you are comfortable, you can do it. And very importantly, this is just not for the bank audits. Ensure that all your data is properly backed up. And I will suggest everybody to have this in your OneDrive or Google Drive so that you are able to get the access to the information at all times. You don't have to depend on asking somebody to send the file. You can yourself pull if you have the login credentials. So kindly do that to see that your data is available at all times, and this will help you also to have a proper harmony with the team. It will be easy for them also to know that what has happened on real time. And last thing, they said computers and technology will make life easier. They have actually made easier in its own way, but have made things tougher also, because today we are forced to do a lot of things. I still recall in our tax audit for 40A3, we will tell that we'll give a disclaimer telling that we are not able to verify. But today it is not so. You can actually do an analysis of 100% transactions and tell that whether there has been a violation of particular thing or not. So probably I'll take you through the sheets which will tell you how to go about. So this first sheet is a requirement sheet where you can type the name of the bank and the branch which you are doing the audit and start noting down the documents which you want from the bank. Say communication to previous auditor. Then as soon as you go, you can tell, I want the previous year audit report so that I can peruse that. I can say I want the concurrent audit reports for last 3 months if it is subject to audit. Likewise, if there is any inspection done, inspection report. Likewise, you can note down things. This will help you to get a small thing that what are the things which we will require or we may require, and we don't miss out on things. Many a time we will tell something to the manager and then later forget. So it will be easy if you can kind of make note of these things. Then I've given a small sheet of the certificates tracker. For all the certificates we issue, please do not issue anything blindly. We are supposed to have documentation that what is the basis or what is the basis on which we have placed our reliance upon. So ensure that the proper working papers are kept here so that we don't miss out on things. And also we have seen that, say for particular one of these certificates, say certificate for some particular loan product we have given. Now this may have one particular circular of the head office which you want to refer. Now what you can do is you can either kind of put it into Google Drive and give the Google link in the remarks. I will tell you one more technique which you can do. What you can do is, if you have the latest versions of Excel, you can actually place that PDF file itself here. What I can do is I can go to insert. One more suggestion, my request to everybody will be to use the latest version of Excel, and if possible, please go for MS365. I'm not promoting any product, but end of the day, if you go for the latest versions, there are a lot of other benefits available. The MS365 costs only 6,000 rupees per annum. It is yearly subscription fees, and you get 6 connections, which means you get 6 MS365 license. Each connection will entitle you to 1 TB of storage, which means you get 6 into 1 TB, which is 6 TB of data. So ensure that you go for MS365, because there are some functions which are only available in MS365 are not available in other versions of Excel. So here I will try to show you how to add a PDF file. So you go to insert. Friends, you can stop me wherever you want me to, if you want me to repeat, by putting your comments in the chat box. So insert, you will see one option here, text. You click that, there is one option known as object. You click that, it will tell which is the file you want to link. Luckily, the first item itself is Adobe Acrobat document. Here you click displays icon and then say OK. It will ask me for the file which I want to link to. Probably because of the Zoom, it is taking a little longer time. Nothing, it will just open a dialog box. You select that particular PDF which you want to do. And one thing, the small option which I showed you, there is one option known as display as icon. You should have checked that. You will see that you will be able to place the PDF file itself here actually. In fact, in this sheet, one of the last sheets I have tried to place one PDF file which you can download. The advantage of this is this PDF file will get embedded into your Excel sheet. You don't have to kind of refer to some other external file afterwards. This gets embedded in your Excel. Tomorrow, after 1 or 2 years, you open this file, you'll be able to open the PDF file very, very easily without even referring any links or any references. I think it is taking a lot of time, so I'll skip it. It has come. So I'll select this file, say Excel shortcuts. See, this icon has come. Now I can increase the size of this particular cell and place it here, or maybe here. So what happens next time when I refer this file, if I click this, it will open the document for me with ease. Likewise, it is just not PDF file. You can have Word file. You can have some other Excel file also referred here, which will be a separate file in itself. Then I've tried to capture all the permanent information as to the name of the bank, the branch name, sole ID. Few people say may have branch code, which you can change it, or DP code. Some branches refer whichever way you want. Address of the branch, contact number of the branch, email, name of the manager, contact number of the manager. What are the other areas applicable from the routine ones? You can make a note of it. And what I did is I put a small conditional formatting. The moment you type something, say Mr. Subramanian, the color will change to green, giving you a small indication that you have filled this information. Now, if I try to give a print of this, I will suggest to go paperless as possible. Don't take printouts of everything. Have it as soft copy. Probably put it in your Google Drive, OneDrive, or send a mail and keep it in your records for later retrieval. But there may be occasion where you want some printouts to be given. Now, if I'm going to give a print of this, this has these yellow shades and green shades. If I give a print of this, will this print come legibly using this laser printer, or there is going to be some issues? Can I get some answers in chat box? If I'm going to give a print like this, will this print be good, or there are going to be trouble? Arun, I think you are only there. Nobody is there with me. Friends, please reply.
It is not coming as such. There may be some normal. You should give it in the normal printer. You will get some black.
So we will get a lot of shades where the text over it will not come very correctly. Perfectly told, Arun, because many times when we do this, so the print will not come correctly, and then the only solution which we do is we go back to the sheet and remove all the shades. You don't have to actually do that. Many times we do that because here in my sheet, I want those colors so that I know what are the sheets I have filled, what I have not filled actually. So what I can do is in this sheet, I'll click page setup. Yes, one member has answered that. Deepak has answered there will be color shade issue. So I'll go to page setup. Many of you will know the technique, but for the benefit of everybody, allow me to tell so that those who don't know can learn it. In the page setup dialog box, there are 4 tabs. Go to the last tab, sheet. There is one option known as black and white. The moment I say black and white and say OK, you will see that the shades now are gone actually. And they are gone only for the print, not in the Excel sheet. So now, if I go back, you will see my shades are intact here, but when I give print, no shades come. So that is the way you can do to give a print in black and white without actually affecting your file. But sometimes where you want the shades as it is, please remove uncheck that box and you will get it as it is. And second, I've tried to capture the attendance of the people who are doing this audit. So I will say partner CA Ramesh. Second partner say CA Suresh. If it's a proprietor firm, they can just write one name. Star article Ram. Subramani say. Now what I can do is when whoever attended on this, if I just give yes to these people, wherever they have come for the audit, somebody has come on Sunday, this sheet attendance certificate automatically gives your attendance. I'll just give Control A and double click between these rows. You will see that all the information is available and I get the total number of man days which have been used for the audit. In fact, some branches were insisting on this certificate of attendance to be got from the manager. So we prepared that. In fact, we found this tool very useful. Even if the bank is not insisting, we can ourselves keep this record for us to know that who are the ones who did the audit actually. Only catch is I have just visualized that there are only 10 people which may maximum be required for audit. Exceptional case, in case you have more than 10 people, you can keep adding. But when you add, you'll have to make some changes here also. That will not work, but you can very well delete it if you don't want actually. And if I change, say this partner has not come on these first 2 days and he has come for 2 days. If I go back, you will see that only 2 days are there. The other days are gone actually. Now, if you have to see how or what is the formula I have given, it is a combination of small formulas I have given. People who are interested in exploring can go into it. Even if you ask me today, I remember it doing it before 3-4 years. So I don't know what is the formula I have given, but it gives me the result the way I want actually. So probably you can build up the formulas one by one at a time, so that you are able to get it the way you want actually. In fact, this is a small control sheet or template which we use for our bank audits. I thought I'll share it with everybody so that it will help you to plan for the audit as well as automatically create the audit documentation. So we'll go to the next sheet, which is the capturing of the other audits. So we'll start with concurrent audit, whether it is applicable or not. If applicable, which is the firm or the CA who is doing it, and if they got the firm's name of the firm, and there may be branches where internal staff is also doing it, you can capture that information. What is the status of compliance? What is the status of revenue leakage? And I have perused last 3 months report, December 21, Jan 22, Feb 22, because you might not get the March report, and you can note down all the observations. Say there are 2 cases where non-compliances were observed. Say account number first, account number is so and so, and this is the name. Say there is one more account I want to give. Now, if you see this is going beyond one line, how to make it curtail it to the cell column width of E? Can somebody put it in the chat box? How to make this trim? I will say that it appears only in the wrap text. Perfect. So I will click this, go to home and click wrap text. I've got it. Now I'm having second account number so and so, some number and then the name. Then I'm having third customer, I'm having the account number and the name. Is this fine, or we should make some more modifications here? Won't it be nice if I'm able to get this 1, 2, 3, 1 starting in the next line, second starting in the next line, third starting in the next line? Yes or no? Yes. So how to do that? I know many of you would have definitely did that. You can just tell me how to do that. Perfect. Control enter. So what I will do is I will double click here. Just before 1, I will give control enter. And before 2, control enter. Before the serial number 3, control enter. Now you will see it is more structured rather than, which was shabby in the previous thing. Where you want formula itself, where you want to have control enter. Example, here it is 1, 2, 3, and here it is say, or I'll put 2 names, all okay. Here say all fine. Now I want this to appear in formula here actually, assuming. what I can do is I can say equal to E12. To add the text, I use the word ampersand. So I will say and all fine. Now what happens? It is coming like this. One, I require a space. So for which what I will do is I will say after and double quotes, space, double quotes, and fine, sir, I've got all okay, all fine. I'll just try to click wrap text and see if it works. It works, but again, I want this all fine to start in the next line. Anyone of you have tried using a formula to get this control enter? Sorry, it is not control enter, it is alt enter. Meenakshi Sundarji, it is alt enter, not control enter. I'm putting in the chat box. To get this data in the next row, manual way of doing is alt enter. Now, have you tried this using a formula? Anyone? Friends, you can give me yes or no so that I know you are with me. You know, it's very difficult to handle a online session where you are talking.
Okay, Ji, okay, Ji.
Pardon, sir?
Okay, okay.
All okay, all fine?
Yeah.
So no. So you can learn one more formula today by giving and say CHAR of 10. The CHAR of 10 acts as alt enter using the formula. Now you can see both have come on two different lines. So wherever you want two things to appear in a different cell, where you want to use formula, alt enter won't work. Formula alt enter put in formula work. You will have to compulsory give the function CHAR of 10 so that you are able to get this alt enter or the text in the next line. Small things which will enhance your report, and all these things you have to do only one time in creating a template so that next time your life becomes very easy. The idea is to tell that whatever you can do it at one stroke so that next time you don't have to spend more time on it actually. So likewise, I'll go with the next things what has been provided in this sheet. I've covered concurrent audit. We have covered RBI audit if the branch is subject to, and we can give our comments. I mean, note our comments, not give our comments. Inspection audit and their observations, so that it acts as a ready reckoner for us to know which are the areas we'll also have to watch very, very closely during the audit. The preceding year statutory audit, their details and their major comments. The IS audit if the branch is subject to, the revenue audit is the branch is subject, if the branch is subject to, and stock audit. And you can add any other audits which the manager will tell you. Now, for you to know which are the audits the branch is subject to, you need to get the management representation. So I've added one more sheet here, probably the last, fourth from the last, where you can start capturing that the things then and there. Branch is subject to the following audits, or A, concurrent audit. Got the spelling wrong. Second, say inspection report or inspection audit photo. So what happens when you start preparing this then and there, you will not miss out points in the end actually. Many a time we have seen we rely on the manager's thing, where if tomorrow he fails to give an audit and you don't verify it, the manager says the auditor didn't ask, or I gave, he didn't peruse it. So it is always you try to record those things so that tomorrow there is no trouble for us actually. And one more incidental thing which I forgot to mention was, in the requirement sheet we have given communication to previous auditor. Ensure that you actually write to the previous auditor to seek if there are any objections. There is always a thought that, no, I'm appointed by RBI and ICAI's intervention, why I should inform the previous auditor, he knows he is not going to get appointed. It is not so. It is a matter of professional courtesy, and our institute demands that we have to compulsorily get the communication made to the previous auditor and take his reply. So the correct thing to do is to send a communication to registered post with AD, which means with acknowledgement due. But last 2 years after the COVID, the institute has told that you can actually do that by sending an email. But when you are sending an email, ensure that a reply comes at the earliest. If the reply is not coming, please try to send a registered post with acknowledgement due so that you don't have any problem. Sir, should I stop the audit till the date? No, not required. You can start doing the audit, but tomorrow if there is any technical trouble which the auditor objects, we will not be able to sign that particular branch, which we have to be very, very careful. So then the physical cash verification, which you have given a small test description, and that can be noted as to who was the one who verified, which partner reviewed that, what are the observations which we have come across during the cash verification, what is the date and time of verification, whether it was done at the start or end of the day, and you can note down the currencies thing. Automatically the output will come. Small formulas we have given. We have tried to capture every possible way where you can definitely change it or customize it. Currency notes, coins, mutilated notes, fake notes if any. And if the branch is having any ATMs linked to it, that cash also we need to add the dual custodians of those ATMs. And few branches we have seen there is something known as late cash, where they record the cash in the vault, but in the account is taken on the next day. So that also we have tried to capture. And the branch is generally subject to surprise verification also. So that also, which day it was done and who did that surprise verification can also be noted. If there are 2 levels of managers, it is done by the same senior person in the branch. Sometimes the person in the nearby branch will come and do the surprise verification. All those things can be captured here actually. So same thing, you can capture the ATM cash verification also by giving information here, and you can always customize it the way you want. Same thing for physical jewels, where the jewel packets will have to be counted, and definitely the total number of packets physically won't tally with the GL, and there will be a lot of genuine reasons for that. See that a proper reconciliation is done, and you record that also here. Like there may be some accounts where the packets are there, but the account has got closed, and ensure that those items are getting recorded in the safe custody register properly. If there are no records and the jewel packets are lying as it is, there are very many chances that tomorrow there can be embezzlement or fraud which can happen due to that. So those things you can take care of it. And we verify some sample packets also, where we check the weight of some 5 or 7 samples, and few samples we check the quantity, whether that quantity is matching with what is being given in the description. And we can verify with the account opening form also parallelly. Whatever things are there, we'll have to check with the account opening form and give our remarks. And you can kind of definitely customize the way you want. Same thing for physical stationery as to the FDs. Books, ATM cards, ATM pins, and cards, and customer can approach the bank and get those ATM cards and pins. And you have to ensure that the ATM cards and pins are not held by the same person. If they're held by the same person, there is an issue with the internal control, which has to be properly reported. Generally, it will not be there, but it is our duty to check that there is no intercontrol issue where any kind of fraud can be perpetrated, because if the person is going to own the ATM card and pin, he can withdraw the cash and tomorrow blame it on the customer. So likewise, the capturing of the lockers as to how many vacant lockers were there, verify 1 or 2 lockers whether they are vacant or not, and reconcile it as to whether the locker income is properly tallied or not. and the information about the bank guarantees also. Generally, we have seen this bank guarantees, people have CBS have different modules, though it gets pulled in CBS, but information comes from different module. So it is better you capture the information, especially the ones which have got expired. There are bank guarantees which are expired. Note down that, see that they are kind of getting renewed or they are getting closed. So we come to one small value addition which we can do by pulling out the retention. Now you can actually get the cash balances of all the days from the bank. So I've given one ready-made answer here, template, which you can refer to, see what are the formulas we have given and how we have worked. Now I'll try to do it separately in a one more sheet. Before that, here we have assumed that this particular branch had 2 limits during the same year. There are very less chances, but I have tried to envisage an option or assume that if there are 2 limits, how you can do that. So we'll try to work out with one example where we have got 1 limits. So I'll open the folder, copy this cash balance report file. So Control A to select all, Control C to copy. I go to Excel sheet and give Control V. Now, luckily my dates, my cash is coming correctly. So I don't have to worry about it. And I will remove the columns which I don't want right away first. And second, the rows on the top till I get my header actually. In this case, my header is going to be date and cash on hand balance. I will say cash balance. Now I need to select the entire cash balance area to do the filtering or the sorting. How do I select the entire range? Can somebody put in the chat box? From the top, how can I select the entire cash balance range? Control Shift and perfect. We know Control Shift down arrow selects the entire range, but if there are spaces going to be there, we'll have trouble. So what I can do is I can select the row first, the columns A and B, and then give Shift Control End. It will select the entire range. And then what I can do is I can manually click filter, data filter, which would have given me the filter, or I can use the shortcut Alt DFF. And in fact, there are 1 or 2 more shortcuts which you can use. Whichever way you are comfortable, do it. Now I have got the filters. Now it has selected C, D, E, F, G also, which I will remove it first. And here what I will do, one, I can deselect everything and select which I want, or select the ones I don't want, by which I can remove all these rows. But what I will do alternatively, which is the easier part, is just to give sort, oldest to newest, and remove the filter. I will say oldest to newest. Now, if you see, all my cash balances have come at one go, and my other items are in the trailing rows actually. So from 367, I will manually review to see some important thing also should not get missed out. So here I see nothing important or relevant information is there in these rows. So I'll right click and say delete. So now I've deleted all the unwanted columns. What I have is the sanitized data which contains the date and the cash balance. Now, is this cash balance is fine, or is there any issue with this cash balance? Can somebody tell what is the problem in this cash balance? Negative to be removed. Perfect. Sir, how to remove the negatives now? Perfect. We don't want this minus symbol which may create trouble for us. So how to take care of the negative symbol? Multiply by -1. Perfect. I will on the C1 row, I will say this number into -1. Fine. Now how to select this to the entire range? How to select the, enter this to the entire range of data? Corner double click. Perfect. So what I will do is I will go to the right end of this cell, and this white color plus symbol will become a small black color plus symbol. I double click, all my data gets converted. Now the only hitch in this is if there are some spaces like this in between. And then if you do the double click, okay, in this case it has come, but what will happen is it will actually stop with this. So ensure that there are no spaces when you do this. If you are very sure of your data, then you can do that. So for me to get these commas, I'll go to home, click this comma so that I'll get the commas as well. Now can I delete this B row? Now that I've got what I want, can I delete this B row? No.
Yeah.
Why, sir? What happens if I delete? I'll have trouble because my data in the C column is dependent on the data in the B. So how to make this as an independent data? I can copy this separately using paste special. So select the entire C range, give Control C for copying, right click, paste special, click values and say OK. Now if I delete it, no trouble. I can always type the cash balance again. So this was one way of doing it. Is there any other way where I can remove this minus? Somebody said this -1 and then we removed it. Fine, that is one way of doing it. As I told you, Excel doesn't have one way of doing things, but multiple way where you can do things. Can somebody tell me, is there any other way out?
Increase the decimal.
Pardon? Using replace option. Perfect. You can select the entire B row, give Control F to find. What is it we need to find? We need to find the minus symbol and replace, click nothing, type nothing. Just in the end, click replace all. Now, Meenakshi Sundarji, this was easier or your formula was easier? So where instead of giving formulas, this happens at one go where it is an easier option actually. In fact, there is one more function you can use, equal to ABS open bracket, select the range and give. In paste special using multiply function, type -1, copy, use the above function. So I'm not getting it, but yes, there are multiple ways where you can do it actually. So using ABS also you can do, multiplying by -1 also you can do. In fact, you can even use the text to columns and also do actually. So use the simplest one, Control F, minus replace all. I've got my data. Now we'll insert one row and try to attain at a retention limit. So let us say the retention limit is 20 lakhs. Now we'll do a small analysis. I'll give the formula to know whether my day end cash balance exceeded the retention limit or not. So I will say equal to if, open bracket, probably one important thing, this if function is the most widely used analysis tool for we chartered accountants. So ensure that you try to learn this syntax and the function very properly, because most of the time it is this function, with this function we'll be able to arrive at the results what we need. So now logical test is B3 greater than 20 lakhs. So if B3 is greater than 20 lakhs, it has exceeded the limits. So I will say exceeds limit, comma. So what I will do is instead of giving the second option, which is optional, I will close it. So it says it is not exceeded. I've got a false. And I do double click. So many false. Is my formula right, or is there any problem with this formula? Here when I click, things were good. What happens in my second row? It has checked my B4 with not 20 lakhs, but with a text analysis. And then when I drag down, dollar missing, yes. The reason why we need a dollar is we want that 20 lakhs to be static. So what I will do is, I will add dollars. How should I add dollars? Somebody can help me with it. Where should I place the dollar now? And how should I place it? Both I need. F4, perfect. So what I can do is by clicking F4, F4 will not work where you keep the cursor somewhere else. You will have to keep it where you want the things to work. You bring the cursor to that particular place and click F4. F4 is a toggle switch which will give you all the options. It will give you $C $1, C $1, $C1 and C1. And all the four have got different meanings. So the C $1 and $C1 works differently where you want the rows to be stagnant and columns to be different and vice versa. But in our case, we want both to be stagnant. So we will say $C $1, enter, and then double click. So now I've got it right where in few cases has exceeded limit and few cases I've got false. But I don't want false. Let me tell, I will say comma 0. And now if I double click, so in few places I've got exceeds limit and few places I've got 0. Now if you carefully observe, the exceeds limit is left aligned and 0 is right aligned. What does that indicate? Small things, but all these things will help you to know things, how the data is there and what you can infer from that.
So left align is text.
Perfect.
Right align is a number.
Perfect. So the moment there is right align, you can be very sure that it's a number and you can do any analysis with it. The moment it is left aligned, it is always text and you cannot do any logical test with it. So now in this example, I purposely chose one output as text and one as number. My suggestion and request is please do not do that. When you do pivot later, it will land you into trouble. So the best thing is either use text in both places or use numbers in both places. So here instead of text, now number, I will change it to text. I will say within limits. Double quotes. So now I've got the within limits and the exceed limits. Now we'll try to do a small analysis as to how many days it has exceeded the limits. So I will say within limits and I will say exceed limits. Now can somebody tell me which formula will help me to count how many within limits are there here? Sum if. You are little near, not sum if. Sum if will add things, whereas I don't want anything to be added. I'm having an analysis already done where I'm having a text. What I will do is I will use actually count if equal to perfect. You got it now. So equal to count if open bracket. I should select the range. Which is the range here?
C3.
C3 to
up to the end.
Up to the end. Now, how do I select that up to the end? I want the shortcut, or I should do it manually. Down arrow. That will help me to select the entire range. which is 332, 367. And now I will giving F4, give the dollar so that it does not change, comma. What is the criteria now? Within limits. So within double quotes, within limits, and close the bracket. I know that there are 83 days. This has got within limits. I can alternately, instead of typing double quotes within limits, what I can do is I can select this E3 also, which will also give the same result. Now I'll drag down and see if this works for the other one. But I'm getting 0. Can somebody tell me what is the mistake I have did? I've actually purposely committed an error. You tell me what is the error I've committed. These are all small things I'm telling you because the mistake we do and we miss. S is missing, perfect Meenakshi Sundarji. So you must be very clear as to tell Excel what is it you want. Here I've given exceed as singular and here it is exceeds plural. The S is missing. So the moment now I add S, still I'm not getting why is it so. Okay, that S also I have to remove. Limits I've given here, I've only given the limit here. So now my total is tallying that 83 days was within limits and 282 days it was exceeding the limit. Now here we did it using the range. Friends, I'm only covering 2 particular sheets. The idea is to strengthen your concept so that tomorrow you can use it for all the working papers what you need actually. So now instead of selecting the range, what I can do is I can name this range so that I get things easily. So I will select C3, shift control down arrow till 367 it has got selected. You come to this small box just below the ribbon. You select and say cash. Okay, I already used cash, so it will not throw. So what I will do is I will change the name to cash 1 and say enter. Don't forget to give enter, only if you give that it will work. Now what I will do, I'll give this formula as to equal to count if open bracket range. Now range I would have had to select from C3 to C367. Now what I will do is I will only type cash 1. You will see that cash 1 has automatically come. I double click, comma, select this. Here no dollar, nothing required. It will be static. So now if I copy this to this, I've got 282. So by using the particular name box range, it is easy for me to get the results. So as I told you, there is no one way you can do things. Anything which you are doing very regularly, try to put it in a name box so that it is helpful for you at the later time. Likewise, this cash balance also what I will do, B32, shift control down arrow. I will select entire thing and then say, okay, here we selected the name as cash 1. Actually, I should have selected it as analysis. Instead of cash 1, I will change it to analysis 1 and say enter. Now instead of cash 1, which is also there, I'll have to say analysis 1. And then if I copy, I'll get it. Now for this cash range, I will select and say cash 2, because 1 already we have selected. So now I want to know the minimum cash which the bank held. I want to know the minimum. I want to know the maximum. I want to know the average. So I will say equal to min function min, open bracket, cash 2, close the bracket. I have got the minimum cash for the year. And if there are 2 days where it is same balance, it will throw the first date only. Likewise for max, maximum balance, cash to, close bracket. I've got it. I will use the same format using the format painter. And average equal to average, open bracket, cash to, close bracket. I've got the average balance. So now in a stroke of minute, I was able to get what is the minimum balance and what is the maximum cash balance held during the year. Now I need to find which date this minimum cash balance was there and which date maximum balance was there. So can somebody tell me which is the function I should be using that? VLOOKUP, perfect. So I'll do a VLOOKUP. Equal to VLOOKUP, open bracket. Can somebody help me with the formula? I have to first give the lookup value. My lookup value is in F7 because I have to look up for this 2,28,968, comma, table. I will select this entire table. Date, cash balance, shift control down arrow. Give F4 so that it gets locked, comma. Now it is telling, I gave a dot here, I have to give comma. It says column index number. I want the date, which is in the first column. So I'll say 1 and comma 0 because I want the exact match. The moment I give 0, I get an error. So what is the problem with my VLOOKUP formula? I open the chat box. Can somebody tell me what is the problem in my VLOOKUP?
Okay.
What is my lookup value? F7. Where is the lookup value finding this F7 in? The first column which I have selected is date. So actually VLOOKUP is impossible if the required data is on the left side and not on the right. So somebody says correctly cash balance should be first and after that only date should be there. And copy this cash balance here. Control C, Control V. Now what I will do, VLOOKUP perfect. Instead of G7, yes, G7 is perfect. Between A2 to D3, I will have to select it as B2 because my lookup value should match with the first column of the find in VLOOKUP, the table which I am doing. It is only then this 2,28,000 will find in cash balance. The moment I selected the wrong thing, it was searching it the date. So now what I will say, I don't want the first column, I want the second column because my output is in second column. First column is cash balance, second column is date, third is analysis. I want a particular date actually. So now we'll say okay. Now I've got this in number for which I can convert it to dates by clicking on the home tab. There is one option known as number in which I can go and select the date which I want is choice 1. Is there any other way I can do that? I have to change this number to date. How can I do it other than one selecting in the ribbon? Because you would have did that. How did you do it without that? Can somebody give me a reply? How to convert this to proper date format? Friends, those who don't know also can give me in private don't know, so that I know that you are there with me. I got some result. I want to convert this into date so that my looks proper. How do I do that? Change the cell format. Perfect. How do I do that, Ranjit? How do I use format cells to change the date? One way of doing is right click, click format cells, and then select date and select particular format which I want. Instead of that, what you can do is use the shortcut Control-1. For format cells, the shortcut is Control-1, and as a CS, many a time we require this actually. So please know the shortcuts, and the best way to learn shortcut is not trying to learn the shortcut and then apply. Just see which is the thing which you do it very regularly and see if there is any shortcut for that or not. So here I will say Control-1. My format cells will open directly, and then I will select the date. I will always prefer this DDMMYY as the format, MMM, because many a time we have seen if that data comes in US style, you don't know which is the month and which is the date. Like 1/4/2019 can be 1st April or 4th January also. So it is always better that you have it in this format. Now I will see if I'm able to get this in maximum for the other thing also. I've got it perfectly. So same VLOOKUP formula, looking 12,28,000 in this entire range, and then picking the second column and then giving 0 because I want the data to be exact actually. There's one more function, the new age function which has come is XLOOKUP. And friends, let me tell you, this is a very, very easier and what do you say, they have kind of lightened it to the possible extent. The same result we'll try to do using XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, open bracket. It is asking for the same lookup value. Till this time, it is same, comma. Now it is asking lookup array, where you want to look. Now, unlike VLOOKUP where I selected the entire table, it is not required. I will just select the date, which is column A, comma. What is the return array? My return array is in, no, sorry. My lookup array is in B and my return array is in A. Here you can see I am able to also go on the left side and able to get the result. And here, no other things required as to whether you want the perfect match or not. It will give you a perfect match. I've got 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will try to use format pointer and get the dates and copy it for the other one also. Now you can see what in the VLOOKUP we saw there were, selecting the table, finding the columns, all those things are no longer there. Probably I'll just see what is the function we have used. Here we used VLOOKUP and here we use XLOOKUP. There is one more function in latest MS versions where it will display the formula also. So you can see the difference. Here where we got confused with this table and then things worked. Here we got it with a very, very simple telling that what you want to look, which column you want to look and which column you want to give the output. So XLOOKUP has eased a lot of things actually. So in this previous example which I've given, I have tried to give it a monthly summary also. Of course, it is not required for our bank audit, but the idea is to tell that where we want you can do things. So what I've did is I've given one function known as a month equal to month of so and so cell, which will give me the month of that thing. And with that month, I've used one countif to tell how many days it was exceeded and how many days it has not exceeded actually. So you can try out yourself for this also. For a lot of analysis, you might require general functions. What we use is if, countif, sumif. With this, we will be able to do most of the things. Friends, any doubts so far? So that I'll proceed now to the major part where we are going to do the conversion of text to columns. You can message me in private or to everybody in the group. So no questions mean things are very good or things are not good at all. Anyway, I'll be positive, hoping that you are enjoying things. So the next sheet is fixed asset sheet, where in this particular sheet, I have captured that one particular bank wanted fixed asset and inventory to be verified beyond 50,000 value only. It all varies from bank to bank. Depending on that, you can record things and then you can make your observations to tell that is there any problem with your verification or not. Then if you have come across, of course, our objective for statutory audit is not to get into finding any revenue leakage, but if you have stumbled upon something where there have been revenue leakage, ensure that that is captured and you can give your particular remarks that whether they were able to collect the amount before you left or it is pending, so that the concurrent auditor or the next auditor can look into it actually. Then there is one question in LFR where they want to find the variance analysis of the deposits as to how many deposits got moved from the end of the March to the date you are doing the audit. So in this case, we have taken the data as on 31st March and we have compared with the data on 7th April. Of course, we got the PDF file of this, converted into Excel and then captured this. If the data is small, you can type it manually also. And then we have given a small function as to what is the difference between the two and find the percentage. And here we were able to find that one particular category, there was 22% variance, which we got a reply from the manager and got it recorded actually. These things, don't blindly write what he says. Kindly try to send an email so that you get a reply recorded officially actually. And here OD deposits been in mind because it was an internal thing which the bank did. So this, there was no trouble, but this 23%, it did kind of made our attention and we got a reply from the bank actually. So likewise, you have to find the variance in income as well as expenditure. So here we have compared the interest expended and the other expenditure for 2 years, same thing for income. And by giving a formula, we are able to know that how much has gone up or how much has gone down and whether it is in line with the advance size and other interest rates actually. So we can give our observation in LFR based on the findings what we do in this. And then a small sheet which will capture all the samples which we have taken for verification, including a loan account, an inoperative account. In fact, calculation of interest for SB account and FD account also. I know things will be right in CBS, but nevertheless, because LFR specifically wants the auditor to check that whether the interest is properly fed and the result is coming right or not, please ensure that you take one sample account, first capture the information which is given by the bank and you calculate it manually to see whether it is right or not. Here we found that the 3 rupee calculated by bank was right, and same way for the FD account. In fact, we generally pick an account which has got minimum transactions because we are checking only the interest. But here our staff picked a longer account and we checked, and there were 3 interest rates which got change in 3 years, and we were able to find that the interest rate was right actually. So you can do it yourself to see whether the interest rate calculated is right or not. So it was initially 56, which became 54 and 42. You can see here, it became 54 and 42. There was a small difference in rounding off, which we have given the benefit of doubt to the branch actually. In fact, not branch, is 42.91, which is rounded off actually to 43. And then you can then and there note as to what are the things which are pending from the partners, the staff, the articles, and the bank. Like I asked for the inspection report, which has not been given. Or I have asked for some specific circular. I can make note regarding rescheduling. So we know that these are the things which are pending from the bank, and it is easy for us to also track. And please make it a habit to send a mail to the bank on daily basis so that things get captured. Many times we have seen that when things go wrong, the blame game starts that, it was auditors who didn't cooperate and do things on time, and we blame that the management didn't help. Please ensure that on day end, you try to send a small mail telling that these are the requirements we need, and let them give it their convenience. Not that we need to push them, but at least they will know what are the things they have to give. One second, I'll mute some member where I'm getting some audio disturbance. Yeah. So you can note down things depending on the partners or the staff or the articles, so that it'll be easy for you to track actually. And then the management representation, which I told, you can always note down things then and there rather than waiting it for the end. And then we need to find in LFAR that the large advances have to be identified first, and then we have to do the findings of the documentation and other areas depending on which are the loans we need to pick. So here I have tried to give a small example as to first type the total number of loans, and the ODCCs are always out of picture, where you have to type the ODCC figures, and then non-fund based accounts total advances you have to type, get the total, and then arrive at the formula, which is 10% of outstanding aggregate balances, like equal to minimum open bracket and say 10% off. 10% off, select the total advances, comma 10 crores. So now this will give you the exact threshold limit above which you have to pick those accounts and verify for your advances, as well as prepare a small annexure for LFAR. So now in this case, any loan which is beyond 8 crore 49 lakhs 89,000 will qualify under large advances and have to work for it actually. Now I'll try to take the small loan summary file and try to do the analysis. You can open the folder and copy these files given in raw data actually. So I'll give Control A, select the data. In A1, I'll give Control V. Now, if you carefully observe, all this data is there in one sheet. Most of the time we will get data like this. It will be very, very difficult for us to put it in a structured form. And the moment we do a structured form, then it is a matter of few minutes for us to do the analysis. So how do we do that actually? So what I will do is, first I've copied the data. I'll repeat the process. Sorry. Take the notepad, Control A, Control C, Control V. Now I need to slice the data so that I can, do the analysis and then try to pick the samples for the audit, including finding of NPAs. So how do I do that? I select the column which I want and then go to data, text to columns. There are two options which will come as delimited and fixed width. If you know that this particular file, they have used one particular character, then you can actually use it. Most of the files will come in CSV format, comma separated value. If it is there, you can click next and then say comma and use it. But here it is not possible because it is not separated by comma. So I'll go back and say fixed width and say next. Now what I will do is I'll have to manually slice it. So I'll cut here telling that this is my serial number. These are my old account numbers. This is my new account number. And then there is customer code and name. Now customer code has got .0 also, which is generally not required. So I'll put a small cut here. And if you have clicked it wrongly, you can double click and remove it as well. So I click, and then after slash I can do, or if I want this separately also I can do it. But in this case, since I don't want this anything after .00 and slash, I'll remove the other ones. So I've got the open date. I've got the close date, the rate of interest, and the liability. I'll say finish. Control A and double click. You can see that I've got all the data almost structured. Let me do a small running through to see whether everything is right or not, because many a time there are chances that the data might not have got structured properly, and you can see it here. If you see my 307th row, I've got a problem. What is the problem? 11 has got picked here, 25 has got picked here, the date is also picked wrongly. So what I should have did, this particular column in G has got open date. I should have given some more space because I cut that exactly after the date. So I have to note down what are the things I have to look into. So open date, I've got a trouble, and in the rate of interest also I've got the problem. So I'll have to redo this exercise again. So I'll give Control Z, select the file, go to data, text to columns, fixed width, next. Select the serial number, old account number, new account number, no trouble with this. Cut here with the unnecessary data. Name is fine. Now open date things were not correct, so I will leave some space and then do it so that I don't have any trouble. Same thing for close date also. And now for the rate of interest, where I know that there were 2 characters which went beyond that. So to be safer, I will leave one more space and say 3. And then in the end, liability, and say finish. Control A, double click between the columns to see now whether my data is correct or not. Yes. Now there are no issues. I've got my all data properly sliced into columns. Now my job is to remove the unnecessary rows. How I can do it? The same way what we did for the retention. What you can do is, first thing, remove all the unnecessary columns till you get the first item which contains the header. And now select the entire row and give Shift Control End. All my data is got selected. I'll have to apply filter by using shortcut Alt D FF, or in the data tab in this filter button you can get it, and the shortcut is, they say, Control Shift L. That also works. Choice is yours. We are used to this Alt D FF because the old version did have that shortcut actually. Now I have got this auto filter ready. Let me try to see what are the data I don't require. First, column wise. Okay, now I made a mistake here. If you see, my customer code has also not come correctly. So I should have been double careful because I was in a hurry to do. I got this mistake again. Now I have to redo this. So that is why they say you have to be very, very careful in spending your time, because this will take little time, but then after that my life is easier. Sorry, fix it with old account number, new account number. This is the where I should have given the cut. I wrongly gave it here. That was the mistake I did actually. Yes, I've got it. Oh no, here also there is an issue. So you sometimes learn the harder way because you don't know where the data has got jumbled actually. So now let me see if I've got it right. Do a casual scrolling to see. Yes, this time I got it right without any issues. So now what I will do is I will go to the top, remove the unwanted rows again. Select the row, shift control and give the shortcut for filter or use the one in the ribbon tab. And then I will remove the columns which I don't want. I don't want the old account number. I will remove it. I don't want these codes and the slash also. I'll remove it. I don't want the last column I because it has got nothing. I will remove it. Or wait, before I remove, I should see, because if I remove this code, my product name is also getting deleted. So let me wait for the rows to be done first and then I'll remove the columns. Now I'll go to serial number. I have two choices. One, I can select the ones which I don't want, like this continue DP code, DP number, one way of doing it. But in my case, luckily I have the serial numbers. So what I will do is I will just sort it by serial number so that all my required data comes at one place. It has come in one place. Let me see what is the data available after these loan accounts. So some special character is there. I will start selecting the entire row now. All these things which I don't want, I can straight away remove it. I don't want general balances. I don't want accounts for. I don't want printed by. This I'm interested. This product number and the name, because I want to know how many type of accounts does this branch have. So leaving that, I will see what is there below that. I will remove all the things if it is required or not, check it and then remove it. I don't want. So right click, delete. I've removed all the things. This I will require, I'll copy it in a separate file. Separate sheet, sorry. Control X. Insert. New sheet. Control V. Now here if you see, these two sheets have got a trouble. Because what has happened is this the hyphen what has been used for the name, Excel has understood that it is minus and it is creating trouble. So what I can do is, I can either remove the minus so that the error does not come, or what I can do is, I can put an apostrophe also, whichever way I'm comfortable. Now, can somebody tell me how to join these things, or I'll remove these first columns. I don't want this. Now this I need. I need C, D, E, F to be joined together here. How can I do that? How to join C, D, E, F? Can somebody reply in chat box? I want XYZ vehicle here, housing finance here, XYZ trade here, XYZ budget loan here. Can somebody tell me what is the function I can use? Or I have to use something else? Concatenate, perfect. So I'll use concatenate, open bracket, select C, comma, E2, comma, E2, comma, F2. So this is one way of getting it. Any other way? Yes, this is correct. You can use ampersand also. Equal to C2 and D2 and E2 and F2. Likewise also I can do it one way. Is there any other way? Concatenate I can use. I can use ampersand. There's one more nice function which is available in the latest version of Excel's concat, C-O-N-C-A-T, open bracket. You just select the range. You don't have to type it manually. So here I've selected C2 to F2 and then closed. I've actually got the result. So those who don't know this function, if your system has, your Office version is latest one, will allow you this concat function, which is very easy because I don't have to do it manually one upon one actually. So now what I will do, I will select these two ranges, right click, first copy, right click, paste special values and delete these things. Probably I'll remove one of the two. A I don't want because it is PRODU only. Now in this B column, is this fine or is there still trouble where I need to sanitize the data further? Can somebody tell me what I need to further sanitize in this data? I have a small colon which is not required, a colon and a space. So how I can remove it? Control F, colon space, replace with nothing. I'll get all the replacement done. You can even do it using control text to columns also. Select the data, go to data, say text to columns, say next and say fixed width and then slice it there and say next and say finish. So these two I don't want, now I can remove it. Whichever way you are comfortable, you can do it the way you want. Now here I want only this 603 as the numbers. How to do that? I want only 603 as output here. If you're using latest version of Excel, there is something known as flash fill. I'll just type 603, go to the next line and say Control E. It will give me all the first three rows. That is the power of Excel. Where you have newer version, what I did was, I'll repeat it. I just typed 603 and then the next line I gave Control E. I was able to do a flash fill. Now, is there any other way people are using older versions? How to do that? How to get this 603? Left. Okay, actually it is right. equal to RIGHT open bracket, select the data, comma, say 3. I want the 3 characters from the behind. So I will get it actually. In fact, you can use it even doing the text to columns, which I showed you. The choice is yours. So I'll select the data, right click, paste special values, and remove this. So now I know which category belongs to what. Now coming back to our loan summary file. Now I can remove the unnecessary columns. I don't want old account number. I don't want this code. I don't want this column I, which is cropping. What else? Okay, this number is not coming properly. I can select the entire range, go to home, and convert this into number. Since it is throwing decimals, I can remove the decimals. Now my data is properly sanitized. I just have to work upon it to get the result. Now for me, I have to do that. I don't know which category this loan belongs to. But if you observe the pattern very closely, you will know that the account number contains all the information. The first 4 digits are the ID of the branch. The next 3 digits are the product code. And then the balance numbers are the account number of that particular loan actually. So now how to bring this 603 out of this? The flash fill which I said, type 603, enter and say Control E. Actually, you will get it all at one go by using flash fill. But is there any other way out? For those who are using older versions, there is one function known as mid, equal to mid, open bracket, select the data, comma, it will ask which number you want it to start from. I want it to start from the 5th digit because that is where the product code starts. So I will say 5, comma. How many number of characters do you need? I need 3 characters. So comma 3, close bracket. And now if I double click, this will work actually. So now what I will do, I will select this, Control C, right click, SV, do a paste special. I've got the data independent of this. Now what I can do, I can insert a sheet. And say pivot. So I'll go to the insert tab, click pivot, select the table from the loan summary sheet, shift control down arrow. I have got my sheet. Oh, I didn't get the pivot. Okay, I got it here. So the heading was account here, which had come. I'll have to filter it based on the account. I'll go to pivot. I don't know why it got copied somewhere in randomly in some other sheet. And then I just have to say account, which is actually codes. So I've got all the codes at one go. Now I want to know each product code, how many accounts are there. So account, I will select and put it under values. I've actually got the count of account numbers. Now what I will do, I'm interested in knowing the amount. I'll select liability and put it here. I've got the sum of the liability also. Now pivot sometimes creates trouble. So what I will do is I will select this, Control C, right click, paste special values. And this total, I will put it here on the top. Now what I will do is I will do a filtering here. Filter and say largest to highest. I will say equal to my total liability on that particular code divide by the grand total, which is the total exposure, and give F4. Double click, go to this percentage, make it 2 decimals. Now I know which are the accounts I need to actually concentrate. And if I just take care of these 5 loans, not that you don't have to see the other loans. If I just take care of these 5 categories, how much percentage gets over actually? 96% of my loan audit will get over. So now what is this 842 category? I'll go to 842 and then double click. You will see that all the accounts in that category have got opened. How many were there? 1428. So 1428 accounts have come in a separate sheet actually. Now what I can do here, I'll filter it with the, not filter, sort it with largest to smallest. And I will tell that this has to be checked by Ram, who is doing the audit. So I know the top 5-6 accounts which needs to be checked. And what I can alternately do is I will sort it using the latest date. So these are the accounts which have got opened lately. So I will tell this also needs to be verified, new account or accounts during the year. So likewise, it will be helping me to that these are the 10 accounts which I'm going to verify and then give my remarks here telling that I verified the account opening forms, I have opened the summary of the loans, whatever remarks you can give, and then further this will be a basis for you to tell that whether these accounts had any trouble or not, and you have given a green signal or not. Because your LFAR, present LFAR, you need to capture the number of loans which you have examined also. So probably likewise, you can do it for all the categories, which all the points which are given in LFAR. You can similarly check the quick mortality. Say you are going to do the audit on 31st March 22. Here I will say equal to, if open bracket, my NPA date is, say, no, if logical test is within a year. So I will say C4 minus this date is less than 365, which means a loan has got NPA within the same year. Then you tell it is quick mortality. Otherwise, I'll just put double quotes and tell nothing. So now this account was given on 8th March. Of course, it is not possible because 90 days have to elapse, but I've just given a random example. Oh, everything is throwing SQM. If C6 is okay, or we can do it equal to, if open bracket, I will say instead of 31st March, say 1 April 22. So equal to, if this loan date is after 1st April 22, which is static, then say it has gone into quick mortality. Otherwise, no issues. So a visualization of formula matters the most actually. No. Sorry, it should be 21. So now you can know that these are the accounts, these QM accounts which have got into quick mortality, and you have to report and work on those things actually. And probably what you can do is you can select the range and give conditional formatting telling that highlight cell rules equal to QM and say okay. So it'll help you to identify these accounts easily. And tomorrow the date gets changed. Say this is 31st March 19. Automatically the text will also go and the shade will also go. So friends, only these are the things which are there. And likewise, I just wanted to strengthen the concept, and you can do that for other accounts also. I will just take you to the other file where I want you to go through and work actually. Just give me a moment. I'll share the screen of the other Excel sheet also. See here, I want everybody to work on this date difference function. The syntax is equal to date difference, open bracket, begin date, comma, end date, and then you give the parameter. So it be equal to date difference, open bracket, select this date, comma, the end date, and comma, if you give within double quotes y, it will tell you the exact number of years within the date. So I will say 29th March 22. I want the 74 days. So likewise, you can try with other parameters as to y, m, d, yd, ym, md. You try to put the formulas here, you will get the result actually. Again, I'm repeating, it is nothing but date difference, DATE, DAF, open bracket, select the begin date, give comma, select the end date, and give the parameter for you to get the result. For want of time, I'm just skipping the part because I don't want you to stretch, and most of the things are covered as well actually. Pivot we have covered, count blank. I've given a small tool for you to verify the PAN also if you want. People who want to know whether the day is a second or fourth Saturday, you can do that. These are the new age functions, text join, unique, sequence, probably not exactly useful for your bank audit, but they can do a lot of wonders actually. Like sequence, if you see, equal to sequence, close, say 100, it will give you all the 100 numbers. Or equal to sequence, open bracket, you want 4 rows and 3 columns, and you want to start from 10 and jump 5 numbers. You will see all the results have come at one go. What would have taken for you to type and do a lot of things, it becomes very easy because dynamic array is now defined in the new age functions of Excel actually. And the X lookup we have already covered. I've given all the shortcuts of Excel which you can use it. The PDF which you can embed it in your Excel can be done. And I've just given a summary of other areas where you can use Excel to arrive at your conclusion. And one more thing I just wanted to touch before we conclude this session. Many times we prepare reports in Word actually. You're able to see the Word file? Can somebody just confirm you're able to see the Word file?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, many a time we will prepare something and suddenly we feel we want something of Excel calculation here. And what we do is we open an Excel file, type everything, put Control C and Control V and we bring it. Friends, you don't have to do that. You go to insert. There is one option given under text as object, like we saw in Excel. So you click this option, the object, and select the Microsoft worksheet and say OK. Now what happens in the Word file? I've got Excel. Now I will say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I will say equal to this plus this minus this. I want the result. So tomorrow you want to change the figures, you can do it. Now I don't even have to go to Excel, and if I just do a print preview, I'll be able to get that file as well. You can see this is also getting printed as it is. And tomorrow if you want to change the data, I literally don't have to go to Excel at all, but just double click, I'll get my Excel in Word itself. So you can make use of these small things to do the audit effectively and productively actually. So that's all from my side, friends. If there is anything further, you can feel free to send a WhatsApp or email to me. I'll be happy to clarify doubts for you. Ranjitji, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Actually, today's session is very, very useful and to point out some that X lookup, V lookup, the concatenate, and that's a very importantly that is converting the text to column. That's very useful. And so many things. And another thing is that is the same function can be done to various ways. That is also very useful. So today's session I find it very, very useful. All are attentive, but actually more than 50 participants, they are very attentive from the inception of the session. Once again, before going to vote of thanks, I thank you very much, sir. So now I request CA S. Kumar, Secretary of Salem branch, to give the vote of thanks.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, one and all present here in this virtual session. And at the outset, I would like to really thank the Pondicherry Chairman CA Manjubashini Madam, CA K. Ranjit Kumar, the Secretary, and the ex officio CAR Sundararajan sir. And I would like to thank also our chairman CA Shankar and ex officio AV Arun sir for having organized this wonderful session. Whenever it comes to Excel, we all know that, like what Avayar said, I don't know whether it is true or not with reference to other subject, but for sure with reference to Excel, it is only what we know is only 3%, and the new age functions, whatever you're talking about, definitely I'm sure all the members would be taking note of all that and using it in their day-to-day life. We are very fortunate that DC Jain sir came to our office sometime back, in Namakkal, and I think he spent a considerable time. Sir, do you agree? You remember, right?
Yes, Kumarji, I remember that.
And it was very interesting that, I still remember you were able to write from left and right and all that. So very nice meeting you virtually once again here. And thank you so much for a beautiful session. And it's like every time there are many functions we tend to forget if we are not using that regularly. But session of this kind definitely pulls us back to all those functions. Oh, we forgot this function again. So this is something which is a kind of definite refresher for everyone. Thank you so much for patiently taking us through the functions one by one and the entire session. I'm sure every member would be enjoying and taking note of all these learnings. Thank you so much, and you have accepted instantly for us, and both the branches are thankful for you for this. And I would like to thank all the members who have been present in the session virtually. I would like to thank once again the Pondicherry Managing Committee member team and also the Salem Committee member team. Thank you all.
So one small announcement is there. Tomorrow we have CP program virtual 6 to 8. The topic is accounting for non-corporate entity. The speaker is S. Kumar from Namakkal. Actually, it is hosted by Salem branch. We are co-hosting it. Thank you for all.
Good.
So thank you all of you. Had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, sir. Session get.